Yeah. Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna include the audio now and do some test.
Yep. Hang on. So I'm gonna give you a quick little test before we start. Yep, your audio's coming up. Yeah, your audio's coming up fine. Speak again, see if it works. Weird. Hang on. Right, sorry just about this, but we'll get into the actual stream in a minute. We're just currently trying to figure out if the audio is working properly with them, because obviously we've had some issues with Angela before. Just speak for us a little bit, just to make sure it works.
Test. Audio check.
Yep, you're good.
I'm good. Alright.
That's good. Okay, so, with all that debacle out of the way, that normally happens at the beginning of every stream, because I never prepare properly. Nothing unusual there. Good evening everyone, and welcome to the finale for RFL, which brings us to the Jeddah Corniche circuit in Saudi Arabia. The finale between Alpine and Williams will decide the constructors right here. And as I say, I think we're still waiting for maybe potentially a few more drivers to turn up. Just a quick old mention, thank you Senna for following the stream. Obviously seen that just before that actually came up, so thank you very much for that. But once again, as I say, seems like it's happened a lot this season. Another new face in the commentary box this season. And please welcome the Ferrari driver that has pretty much carried Ferrari on his back the entire season. Joining me for a little bit of a break from racing this week, it is Angelissimo. Welcome, my Italian friend.
Thank you for the introduction. Good evening, everyone. I'm happy to be here. Glad I could get the chance to try my hand at commentating a bit. Decided to take a break for today because I've had issues with my hand, so I decided to try hand at commentating, and yeah, thank you for allowing me to join you, Sam.
Thank you very much, Angel, for joining me in the commentary box this week. Obviously, as I say, you've had a very good season yourself with the Ferrari team, and obviously pretty much carrying the team to where you've done it, so taking a little bit of a break in the end, really sort of enjoying a little bit of a respite, I suppose.
Yes, exactly. Just like end the season, race early. Just gonna relax a bit, enjoy the action from the sidelines for once.
Indeed. So, while we are waiting for the lobby to fill up, if we have got any more drivers coming in, obviously you will notice my normal commentator Cal, or normal co-com partner in the commentary box, Cal is racing this week, so welcome to him. If ever, I think we are actually going, so we are only going with 9 drivers for this week. I suppose it's kind of the game being the way the game is, and popularity kind of diminishing as we go through. But this circuit has played out with some fairly big dramas in terms of real life racing, so I wonder if we'll see similar drama levels here tonight under the floodlights here in Jeddah.
Of course, we've had in the real life semi-finale of the
your
championship.
Huh? Yeah, your headset's picking up your moving of your headset, by the way. Like whatever you're doing, I don't know.
Okay, give me a second. Fix this and apologize.
Yep, just so it's not a constant thing. Wait, it sounds like you're moving say if you're moving a zoom lens on a camera.
Okay, they have noise suppression on again, and I'm actually gonna stand still this time. Is it fine? Is it fine? I apologize for that. I'm sorry.
Yep, you're fine now. You're fine now.
Good.
It's only in the beginning of the thing, so it should only be the beginning.
Good. All right.
So, only 9 drivers this week. Obviously the drivers Championship was sealed by Vapid 2 races ago, or 2 or 3 races ago, I believe, in Spa, when his nearest rival Scott W was in the commentary box with me that week, and so it's going to be interesting to see now. Obviously, the big battle now to play out is going to be the constructors, and two and a half points separates Alpine and Williams. And what you think is going to be the most important dynamic in terms of the team's mental prep going into this?
Well, I think the most important thing to watch out for this race, as Cal is the first one to leave the pits, the most important thing is to not spin and get penalties for this, because strategies should be pretty simple. This is a low tire degradation circuit. It's more about the tire temperatures and avoiding getting penalties. I think the teams, both Alpine and Williams, are looking to oh, and as Cal almost has had a moment, he saved it.
It's probably a little bit of rust from Cal, I suppose, considering he hasn't really driven since Monaco.
Yeah, nice save there. I thought he was in the wall, but he manages to keep it out. What was I saying?
Indeed, yes.
About the
talking about the circuit, sort of low deg,
yes.
Low deg, I think it was.
The teams of Alpine and Williams have probably looked more about try to finish the race. It's the survival of the fittest. This one, it's probably the most challenging racetrack in the entire calendar, alongside Monaco, because the walls are right there as well. One mistake and you're gonna be hugging that wall a bit harder than you would like to, and it will put an end to your race very quickly. So I think to watch out most, not spin, not get penalties, and obviously keep track limits in mind, don't hit the wall.
Indeed. So Angelo, would you like to take us through a lap of the Jeddah Corniche circuit on board with Cal?
Alright, so here we are with Cal on board with him, going down to turn 1, where we've had many things happen previously with Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton, and even Esteban Ocon getting up in the fight there. And this is obviously the S section we get up to. We've had quite a few accidents in Formula 2 and in Formula 1 as well. Get through it quite cleanly. Very quick segment of corners, very fun to drive on, but also very easy to get penalties. Verstappen validated, taps the wall, they're really close to the limit. And that was a really nice segment of corners. Now we get to this sort of long swooping hairpin, which really you want to use all of the exit so you can get most speed out of it. To the quick S section right here, left, right, right, left, and then close to the wall. Great, this is just a beautiful part of the circuit. You're just swooping through turns at speeds of over 300 kilometers an hour. And here's the braking zone to go under this building right here down the back straight. We've had lots of controversy in 2021 as well as 2022 with Max Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton, and then the next season 2022 as well as Charles Leclerc. Down to the final turn, out on the exit, good exit right there, not wheel spinning or anything, not having a Max Verstappen moment there, and down to the line, a clean lap by Cal. First lap he's done in a long time.
Indeed so.
Yeah.
Not a bad lap from Cal, considering Cal's probably not driven since before Monaco. That's not a bad first gambit. As I believe Senna has crashed in the middle sector somewhere.
Oh, yes, I couldn't catch him on my camera. Happened a bit too quickly. Give me a second. Television. Who else is on a lap?
We have at the moment, we've got TomGorian, who's currently in sector 3 and is about to come round the final corner. I believe he has a car just in front. I believe that is Vapid, who is on an outlap, so we don't need to worry about going on board with him quite yet. So SoFresh 130
So Gorian goes
130.3 was briefly quickest, and then it was TomGorian on 8.6.
Yeah, that's a clean lap from him as well. Quite quick. Yeah, and wait, okay, so Scott is on a lap as well. He's the
Haas driver who himself has carried Haas on his back most of the season due to having a revolving door of teammates, much like a an old F1 teams would have at the back of the grid in the sort of 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Yes, exactly. They had lots of different driver switchings back then. I believe Michael Schumacher in 1994 had like 4 different teammates in the first few races of the season. Scott here goes through the final corner, has a nice clean exit. Let's see what his lap time is going to be. Going to get anywhere close.
The final. Indeed, he's coming around 29.0, so I do expect him to improve on that lap very marginally as we go through. But obviously that final corner, infamous scenes of Max Verstappen on one of the greatest laps he's probably ever had, crashing at that final corner, maybe pushing a little bit too much. And we'll see any of our drivers doing very similar things today.
Of course, Max Verstappen on that day, he was pushing his luck very hard. He had already made 2 small mistakes where he was very on the limit on that same lap a few corners before, and then he caught him out on the 3rd time. Obviously, one of the greatest laps to be sadly never finished.
We'll never know what that lap time could have been, because it was looking like a very rapid lap there from the Red Bull driver on that day. Meanwhile, speaking of a different team, Williams, we have Vapid coming through the final corner. He goes P3, 30.1 on the mediums. So, well, something I have noticed with Vapid this season is he does like to use the medium tyres for his first run and save a set of the soft top compound tyres, which could come in handy. Obviously, we know, as you described earlier on, Jeddah is a very low deck circuit, so you're going to see, I believe it's the mediums and hards, potentially. We could potentially see some drivers risk the softs, potentially, going through.
Of course, yeah, that is also a possibility, because this is a track which allows you to use every set of tires. You don't have much difference in terms of pace, but the difference comes through tire temperatures, because obviously the harder the tire combat is, the harder it is to overheat or bring heat into the tires. So obviously soft runners are going to have a bit more grip, but also they'll have more issues with tire temperatures, especially on this circuit with all the very difficult exits out of corners that it all has to offer to all the drivers. As meanwhile, Jackster manages to join the session. We could see a lap from him as well. Sora is here too.
Indeed, obviously we've seen Sora has turned up very late, but has still performed, even if he only gets maybe 1 or 2 laps under his belt. And obviously we've seen Jackster, I believe, has been a name that has come up as of obviously only joined in Belgium. Obviously seen that, oh, there's a Red Bull there on the apex there. I believe that was spent on an outlap. That's probably been a little bit off-putting for Button, obviously, in the Alfa Romeo. I still get cars confused. I don't know how I'd do it, even though I've done an entire season of commentary. Thank my brain for that occasionally being a thing of putting words there that shouldn't be there, but yeah. It's going to be interesting to see how this gets approached, because you're going to want very low downforce for a circuit like this, but you do want a tiny bit of downforce to make sure that you can still make the corners as flowing as per possible.
Exactly, that is I think the most difficult thing about the circuit, to actually account for is what should you, as meanwhile I think Cal has had a moment. He's still continuing. Of course, like you said, the drivers could go for low downforce setup and suffer through the first sector and have a bit more tire overheating, but then they will get as spins with tires. He's not even done a lap yet, I believe.
Don't know. I think he's in the pit lane, so it's not anything to do with that.
Okay.
I believe we also have Cal, who's on an lap as well. I think, had an incident, and he's at 8.7 seconds down on that, so he will not be improving on this particular lap. It'll be interesting to see how Cal readjusts to driving again, because obviously since the last time Cal would have driven on the game, it's obviously we've seen 2 or 3 major patch differences in this game, and you can argue over whether or not the patches have been good or bad for this game, because it's very polarizing over what people do actually say on this game. But as someone who has driven through most of this season, what has been your sort of thoughts on the game this year as a whole?
this game has improved a lot in terms of multiplayer and I think setups as well. They've added a lot more variety for the setups, and multiplayer has been improved quite a bit. No major issues since last year's game, but the different patches have brought quite a few things to the actual handling models of the cars themselves, especially patch 1.6, which I believe came out right before the season started. I personally, driving the Ferrari, have never noticed any big difference from patch to patch. The cars felt kind of the same every patch, but I've had other drivers tell me that their car, after the sports update, have started feeling quite a bit better or quite worse.
It just depends on who you ask, doesn't it? It's obviously this game, it's had a mixed opinions over how some of the patches work. I will try not to go into it being a bashing Cody session, but occasionally it will happen because this game does have some flaws which do need to be fixed, and that's saying it in the most politest sense for commentary purposes.
Yes, I agree with that. There's a few things to be done, but as you said, we shall let that in the hands of
leave that for just now. Yes. Not something I ever know about in terms of coding, because I've given that a go and I was hopeless at it when I was in college a fair few years ago.
I tried. And as we have Cal going to the pits at the moment,
yes. While we were talking as well, I noticed that the funny game between Vapid and Tom, neither of them wanting to give the other slipstream, as Vapid just runs wide and validates on his lap, so he's probably going to have to go again.
Also, Tom
the funny game of
yes,
indeed, I just noticed that. That's going to be interesting to play.
God.
That was an interesting play there from Tom. I think he wanted a little bit of slipstream, and Vapid was like, "No, you're not having slipstream there," and he's backed off probably into the pits again. Yes, he has. Interesting tactic that from Vapid. Not sure how much illegal that probably is, but okay. While we're waiting for that, we will go on board with Sora, who's currently invalidated on his first lap, so I think he's backed off on this, so he's probably going to go again, but Sora has won the past 4 or 5 races in this season in terms of the last few races, and that he's looked just a machine in terms of the last few, but very obviously Portimao last week very clearly showed he is still human. He's capable of still making mistakes or ending up in trouble in one way or another, because he ended up in a big scrap at the beginning of the main race, and from there the race kind of went downhill until the most unlikely safety car came out. We will probably not go into the details of how said safety car came out because it may well spark arguments, but it was kind of a thing that did partially save his race to a point, but then I believe he made yet a few more mistakes, and it just seemed like he wasn't having nearly as much luck as per normal. So he'll be looking to make a few more amends this week and get himself back near the top, but I believe he's just packed the old bracelet there, but I think he's not got any damage from it. Looking to fix what happened last week and get himself back in the top set for this final round.
Of course, I'm looking forward to what he has to offer today, because I believe he's come off right from the back of another league race.
LCR race. I believe he does LCR just right before this. So doing 2 league races back to back. I'm not entirely sure on that one, to be honest.
Well, it's quite impressive that he still has the will to.
He's backed off. I think he made contact with the wall.
Yeah, I might have. Because it's a new thing in these games.
He's invalidated there. I've just noticed.
Oh, and
but it is very easy to invalidate in a lot of these corners. That's one thing. Obviously, both being drivers ourselves in other leagues here and there, you'll figure that you can overstep the lines a little bit and you'll get a track invalidation. But if you go over it massively and then just carry on, you'll be absolutely fine. It's another one of these small intricacies within the game that sometimes don't make all that much sense.
Yes, that is a part of the game. Sometimes it gives you a warning, and then you do the same thing the next lap, and you don't get any, and it's a bit weird, a bit inconsistent, but it is what it is. The game does what it thinks is right, and that's just we have to deal with it the best way we can. As I believe Kirby is on another lap. Is in a new lap?
He is indeed. I am on board with the Alpine
Ooh.
driver at the moment. And right there is, I think, a key example of what I mean by that is how wide the rear Yeah, I think he did lose a rear end though there.
Yes, it looked like
that sector.
It looked like he had a little bit of a moment there. Just barely keep it, just almost losing it, just still barely keeping it in check. That rear end, which is also an important factor, as well as with tire temperatures. The rear end on this track is naturally quite loose because of the high speed G-forces you get, as there's a yellow flag right in front.
Ah, it's button.
Oh!
Oh my word, that's probably terrifying for a Kirby going through there seeing that. That's a very easy place to crash, I know, because I've crashed there myself at one point in a league race not too long ago.
Button is out of qualifying, just like that. Like I said, it's so easy.
3 drivers out of qualifying.
Yeah, it's 3 drivers. And this also brings to light another issue. Here
comes Kirby.
And he's improved.
Nearly 7/10.
Oh, fair play. It's just looking good for the Alpine boys at the moment. Very good.
Indeed.
Very good.
He's currently on a lap. I'm going to see where Jax is. He's currently in the first sector, so we'll go back to Cal just now. I feel like it's not as much as say Cal hasn't obviously raced for a little bit. Since round 4, I believe. It's very not round 4. I'm not sure when the round before Monaco actually was. It's been quite a long season. Around 24 rounds of action on the RFL channel, which you can catch on the YouTube channel as well, under the same name, I do believe.
Yes, indeed.
But
the same name, yes.
Obviously yourself, you've driven a lot of the season as Cal does stay on 7th, but does improve on his time. It's obviously for yourself, it's been an up and down season, and obviously, unfortunately, didn't quite get caught on the stream when we actually did it, with obviously Twitch being a little bit weird and buggy. It was obviously just after the Italian Grand Prix at Monza when I believe you won your first race of the season, or maybe second race of the season, and winning on what's basically home turf for the team you race for, and kind of your own league, your own nation as well. As I believe qualifying is almost finished actually. We've reached the end point already.
And Jackson gets pole position by 3/10. Tom is not going to be happy at all about that. He's most likely going to be there. Oh, and Scott has also had a moment on his final lap, I believe. Yes, that was his final lap, and he spun. Tom, I believe, is also on a lap, and he's improved by 1/10. Actually, this might be close between Tom and Jackson. Let's concentrate on this battle for the pole position at the moment. He's really quick, Tom. He's improved quite a bit through sector 1. Let's go to this sector.
He's 3/10 up, 3.5 tenths.
He's close. He's close. He could have this. He could still have this.
I wonder if Jackson might well go for a second lap as well if he has enough fuel in the tank. Obviously, it is a very short lap around here to actually go around only 25 laps of this Grand Prix alongside the 5-lapper sprint race. Only 30 laps really.
Sora gets it, but Tom is
28.2.
Tom is still in it. He could still get it. Tom gets
28.217.
Oh wow.
That is, and there is the lap there from, and Jackstar has invalidated. He was half a tenth up, and he's invalidated on his lap.
Jesus.
Scott's also invalidated, so won't see improvements from him. I believe Cal is on a slow lap, so that is qualifying done, dusted.
17 thousandths of a second, no, 13 thousandths of a second separate Tom and Sora. The top two.
And only one, Jackster as well, only 1/10 behind as well.
That is close. It's a big gap, the top 3. I knew Tom was fast. I did a few laps with him yesterday, and he was absolutely flying, loving the circuit, and it shows right here that he does have the pace for the sprint race. Let's see how that translates into the main race as well. That is amazing. That was an amazing lap there by Tom. He was so close to the walls, man.
Indeed, that's kind of your trick with what you do with this particular game, is This particular track, you do need to get a little bit closer to the walls if you potentially can, because it will help you out massively in terms of that. But the sprint race for the 5 sprint race will start with Tom on pole position down that long run towards turn number 1. Sora will start alongside him in P2, 13 thousandths of a second behind. Jackstar in third, only 0.1 of a second behind, with Scott in fourth, quite a bit of a distance behind in fourth place, nearly over 8 tenths down with Vapid in P5, 1.1 down. Then it is Kirby in the other Alpine with Button not managing to get a decent lap in after and crashing out midway point in the session, with SoFresh in 8th. Cal the slowest, but not a bad return for the Aston Martin driver. And then it was Spen and Senna who did not manage to get laps in, and will start from 10th and 11th. So the run towards turn 1 here, it's a very long straight, but it does lead into a very tight technical turn 1, which can, I think, catch out a few drivers.
Indeed, it can. Can catch out even the best of the best drivers, including Lewis Hamilton, who's been caught out by Esteban Ocon and Max Verstappen, cheekily diving down his inside in the 2021 restart of the actual Grand Prix, if you might remember.
Indeed, I think I do believe that, yes.
And
I believe I've seen that.
Many shenanigans have gone down there to turn 1 concerning Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton. One of the most controversial moments of the championship of that season. And I think if we get a 3 or 4 wide moment down into turn 1, we might expect some contact, as well as some debris flying around, and then an unhappy person leaving that corner without a front wing.
Indeed, as we obviously will be, might potentially could happen. Obviously, the massive speed differences you probably will see in the cars, over 200 miles an hour in towards turn number 1 from some of these guys, depending on what they potentially have chosen on their setups. As I don't know who this is.
I do
whoever
not
you
know.
are.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there we go. Thank you. Thank you. It's probably someone joining off of someone else, I would assume. Thank you for leaving, though. If you want to sign up, you can sign up for next season. This is final race anyway. It doesn't really matter. But obviously, as I say, have reiterated a little bit on that. Final race of the season, obviously a 24 race calendar. I believe that is getting thinned down to, I believe, is it 18? I believe it's 18 races.
I think it's 18 races for next season, 17 or 18. Still need full 100% confirmation, but what I've heard, 18 races is going to be the number for next season.
Indeed. And just a little bit off.
It looks sort of cloudy. Seems like overcast.
It could be interesting. It probably won't be because it's the Middle East, so it barely rains here.
We've had rain in Abu Dhabi at some point as well. I think was it RFL this season? No, it wasn't. I think it was qualifying. Not too sure where it was, but I remember there was a league race and we actually had rain in Abu Dhabi. So who knows?
It's a rare thing, but it can happen.
It can happen, as we've had also in real life. 2018, I believe, there was a little bit of sprinkling going on at Abu Dhabi. Certainly would be exciting to see Jeddah in the wet, obviously. See how the drivers.
I mean, it would throw a spanner in the works as to see how people, as you say, would respond to it. To note, I was just looking at tires to see if it was indeed still dry, in which case it is. I believe Cal may well have completely run out of soft tires from qualifying because he is on mediums. So I think he may well have used all of his soft tires up, and the game has just decided to put him on the mediums for some reason. So that's going to be fun for Cal.
I mean, it could work out as well. I think the race is starting a bit earlier than it should.
No idea. Sorry, I'm just
No.
in the chat.
Apologies. It's correct. It's correct. I'm sorry. It felt very quick.
Sorry about that. I was just was listening there. I was just banning a bot on the chat. I've seen that a lot recently. Go away.
Why are
Anyway,
you there?
why are you there? Yes, that famous quote.
Oh, and here we go.
Yep, the lights. Yep, obviously no formation lap for
5
this
red
entire thing.
lights.
5 red lights.
So, hold up. And away we go.
Button wasn't ready. He has not moved.
No.
So, too wide in towards turn number 1. Soda's gone round.
Oh no, that has not
That's
gone
a
well.
contact there. It looks like it's too wide between. It almost looks like it was too wide between Scott and Jackster for a second. Scott trying to go up the inside of Jackster, but it looks like Jackster was caught out a little bit on that start. Vapid has promoted himself up to 4th with a SoFresh in P5. So at the moment, no points up. It looks like if TomGorian can keep this up, he can get the maximum 3 points and extend that gap out to around about 5.5 points between Alpine and Williams just off of the sprint race alone.
Both Williamses are together again with Kirby right on the heels. Sora's had a spin and he's already up behind Spin. And he might be shaking up a move right now.
Oh, that's Cal as well. Cal was looking at a move at the back of the Mercedes there for a brief second, but was not able to really make any moves sticks. As here is Finns. Finns has now joined the quick New Zealand driver, who is going to be surprised when he sees someone else in his car, as it's very wide from Spen. So is this the opportunity? And that's a great sort of switchback move from Sora round the inside. However, Spen is coming back.
And Cal is
Cal as well. Cal's looking at it. Cal's going down the inside. There's contact with the wall.
Oh, that was light contact. He just spun him into the wall there. I think are really close racing at the moment. That puts him in the clutches of Senna again.
Jackster as well at the front.
Around the outside, Spen tries.
Indeed.
And he makes it work.
Spen and Sora, I think they managed to make it stick. I did briefly go off just as it happened. Looked at Spen though, he's trying to come back down the inside. He is not making it easy for Sora here. There's going to be, that's very wide from there. These two not giving a quarter here. Spen and Sora's getting them back to position. I believe he overtook him off track, so that is fair from...
Oh, he's run wide again.
Oh, that's very wide from Spen. Spen really struggling a little bit of track limits there. You can see Kirby just in front as well. American versus American. SoFresh versus... Oh, that's Vapid out. Vapid's crashed.
Vapid is... Oh, Vapid is crashed. Sora's
I don't know what's happened there.
Oh, no.
But there goes... And that's one thing that was coming at some point. There goes Vapid's 100% record of finishing every race.
Oh dear, I'm so concentrated on
yeah, so
spinning.
I think sometimes
Tom has hit the wall. What has Tom done? He's just hit the wall.
Oh my word. Jaxa's looking all over the back of him. DRS is going to be enabled this lap. Looking back from the Alpine driver. Look at this slipstream and the DRS down the straight as he goes side by side in towards turn number 1. Jackster gets the move done around the outside. It's really pointless fighting this, and I suppose it's kind of because Scott is holding up a train of cars behind him. Kirby trying to go down the inside of SoFresh as well and towards turn number 1. Is he going to try and switch back on the Williams driver? Only one Williams left in this race, obviously, since Vapid has crashed out of the session. And Kirby's still not quite able to do it, and now it looks like Tom, he's fell down a position, but more importantly, he's probably seen that message saying that Vapid was out of the session, and well, let's just say there's probably a little bit of a smile on the face in that cockpit, even if he is probably not fully showing it at the moment.
I don't know what I just caught Tom just turn right all of a sudden on the straight and just hit the wall and damage his wing. I don't know if you managed to catch that on stream, but he's just...
I caught like the very edge of it, but oh, there's a yellow again. That is Button. I think that's Button at the back who's had an issue coming out of the corner. He's spun.
Oh no, both the Button family members are both spun, and XCR Senna has reset the track as well. So both Mercedes cars are going to have that get looked at after the race. Resetting to track.
Indeed, I believe.
And
indeed.
Button has done another few.
Oh, Kirby down the inside. He thought about it. Sora as well on Cal. Cal's been passed by Sora. As they go into the final corner, can Cal make the move coming into the final corner?
We're on the far.
He's going to be close. If he wants to make it here, he's going to use a little bit of battery here to get as close as possible, but I don't think it's going to be really enough as Sora keeps hold of 7th place and Cal is back down to P number 8. Sora's got a 2-second time penalty for track limits.
Well, yeah, it looked like he was going very on the limit on the first lap as well, and I think he got a few warnings in
Kirby,
this fight.
sorry to interrupt. Kirby's practically
SoFresh
pushing,
picked
and
up.
SoFresh has now got a penalty.
Oh, Kirby
That's very wide there from here. Some people, I think, do not know the meaning of track limits. As of this moment, it's very easy to do, and I think that's going to be the case in the race. That it's going to be very important for drivers to keep it within the white lines if they want to do that. As there goes Button out of the race, he is retired in the pit lane, so he's probably had some kind of incident that has meant that he has had to retire, potentially side pod or wing or side pod damage or something that cannot be repaired, and that has forced the Alfa Romeo driver to retire from the sprint race.
Sora and Ben at it again for the 100th time this race.
Oh my word! How did they go side by side there with no contact?
What a move by Sora, but now Ben
To note that he is using a lot of ERS's spin as he go down towards the final corner. He's on nearly 90 when I looked at him last time, so you can now use a lot of that battery to kind of get himself away. The Red Bull driver potentially could be running much slipperier wings. Yes, that took a long time for my brain to want to say that without actually.
Will he go down inside? No, he thinks about it.
No. There's a time penalty for Spen.
And Kirby and SoFresh are at it again.
Oh, this has got to be frustrating for Kirby. He cannot pass.
I mean, all he needs to do is keep it clean, not get a penalty, and he's got the position. Also,
but how frustrating is it when you do get stuck behind another driver?
Runs wide again. Penalty for
There's a
Cal.
time penalty for Cal as well. It's very much going to be a case in point of Kirby needs to get this move done. He's only going to have 2 more DRS zones to go. Can SoFresh hang on to this position, at least on track for the moment? Looking back,
SoFresh has
he's got so much more battery as well.
Plenty of ERS. Kirby doesn't have anything left in his tank. He's not going to be able to overtake him now unless he can make something out of the situation into the final corner.
He's going to be close though, because there are obviously 2 DRS zones that follow each other. So can he do anything? He's going to have to use pretty much everything in the tank. He's going to run out of ERS beforehand. Indeed he has. Here comes Sora, by the way, as well. Sora has just completely snuck up, and he's going to get a free position off of that now. I've just noticed as well that Jackster has won the race with TomGorian finishing in P2. Scott just finishes behind TomGorian by 2.5 tenths, as it looks like Sora will drop to P6 though, and Kirby will get P4.
Yeah, obviously keeping it clean, not getting any warnings, yeah.
Indeed. So while that was all going on, we had Jackster winning the sprint race in the Red Bull alongside TomGorian, who will finish P2, and Scott just finishes in P3. It was very close at the end. Obviously TomGorian's wing damage would probably not have helped him there, but he does claim 2 points from this race, and those all important 2 points move that gap as we go into the main feature race at XCR Senna retires on the final lap of the Grand Prix. 2.5 points is the gap between Alpine and Williams as we go into the final feature race of the season, which could very much well decide the outcome of this Constructors.
Of course, here we have Dexter getting a sprint race win, and yeah, it's going to be interesting for the main race. Williams on the back foot at the moment, with the RFL champion starting practically last as well. I think
practically he is starting last.
I'm not sure if Benz is going to start behind him or not.
No, he will. Yeah, he will start at the back because he didn't qualify. He will be placed in 12th.
Okay,
and
so
I believe Jackster will be moved back to McLaren unless he's still reserve, because I believe Finns is actually full-time Red Bull. So I think, I don't know where the points will go to. Jackster does score here. But Jackster claims the 3 points from the sprint race. TomGorian will get 2 from second, and then Scott will take the final position for the points on the podium, 1 point for third. Just off of the podium, it was Kirby who finishes in P4, SoFresh in P5, Team Sora in P6. Not an ideal sprint race for him. Looking for improvements from the Mercedes driver in the main feature race. Cal in 7th. Not a bad return for Cal, considering did have battles with Sora. Very much a quicker driver, in a driver mostly in form. So good comeback, good sort of comeback story really from Cal to have a few battles with the Mercedes driver. Spin in P8, Senna will finish in P9. Button and Vapid will be the only DNFs from the race. So as we head into the main feature race, Angelo, what would be your thoughts if you were a driver, especially of one of the two teams going into it? What would your mindset be?
I would just honestly concentrate on my race, try to avoid anything that can end my race or ruin it. Just try to make my own strategy, help my teammate in any way I can if the opportunity comes up, and just try to finish the race with the least amounts of warnings or penalties, just damage limitation. If I were to be in a situation of one of the Williams or the Alpine drivers, that is what I would do.
Indeed. And obviously a relatively new track on the F1 calendar and league racing, but do you have any sort of standout moments really in terms of stuff that stands out for you over the years of maybe over the time of racing on this track?
Thing that stands out, in terms of league racing.
Let's put you in the spot occasionally.
No, it's fine, no problem. I'm not sure about league racing because it's actually the first time I see or take part to a league race on Jeddah, and can't exactly say for sure if I've seen something outstanding. Maybe, I don't know, me or having an accident, maybe the actual that maybe, I'm not sure.
As I say, it's just because obviously it being a very relatively new track,
Yeah.
obviously it doesn't have the same sort of pedigree in terms of some of the tracks in the F1 calendar. And this was a conversation I believe I also had with Cal at some point here or there during Monaco, or something along these lines. Sort of your views on sort of these newer tracks with a lot more runoff area, replacing some of the old guard tracks that have been on the calendar for a fair few years or have seen sort of few rendition changes. Just what you think on that front in terms of races, tracks that really should be there and tracks that shouldn't be there.
Alright, that is a good question. I will just talk about Jeddah in that regard. I like the mix of having walls next to you as well as having a little bit of runoff. But the only issue I have with this is, for example, in qualifying, you've seen Exer Button sit in the wall, and had it ghosting not been on, Kirby would have absolutely clattered into him. That's a bit the danger on the circuit. You cannot, because you have so many walls and the corners are so long, you just have so many blind spots. And if you get caught up in an accident in front, there's an accident in front of you, you won't be able to react in time to actually avoid it, and it might end up in a heavy accident, which is going to bring out a lot of issues for many drivers who are behind as well. We've had that in real life too, in 2021, where Leclerc and Perez had their collision and the entire field just imploded behind them. It's a little bad. That's the only major issue I have with these sort of tracks which have long streets, like these fast street circuits. Just the visibility is a bit poor, but I think it's fun. It's a fun racetrack. Jeddah is going to bring a lot of exciting racing, as we've seen in real life. I think these drivers are going to bring us quite the spectacle today, especially with the Constructors Championship on the line as well.
Indeed, I just had to message Vapid on something because there's something little bit wrong with the lobby. I've just noticed the lap distance, but yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. I just know. Yeah.
Yes. It's an even shorter race than
Today
probably it
is,
should be.
Oh, accidentally puts it up to
Yes.
100%. Ooh, we're gonna have a nice bang.
I mean, I have done 100% of this particular track, and it's not all that long, to be honest.
It's very
considering-
quick. It's a very quick race. Yeah.
There we go. There we go. I think
He's
he's
done.
lost.
Yes, he's done it now. Jeddah's quite a quick race. It's a very quick race. You get it done, like you do laps, and if you concentrate, get in the groove, all of a sudden you're gonna be like, wait, the race is over already. What?
Indeed, yeah. It's very easy for the amount of the laps just to pass really quickly, especially
Yeah.
if you're just pummeling around lap after lap. If you, as you say, a good rhythm around the track like this is going to be very important.
Yeah.
Just to keep you going, really, in terms of that front.
The easiest way to do that is basically if you get in a groove where, oh yes, I can do this corner like this, I'm not gonna have my rear end snap on me, I'm not gonna overheat my tires, I'm not gonna lose too much time to the guys ahead or behind. That's when you stop thinking about that issue and you don't focus on it as much because it comes out automatically for you to do things you would usually do, and that just makes you an absolute rocket in your consistency and everything, and that just gets the race done quicker than you would actually think about. If you were to think, oh, if I worry about this corner so much, you're just gonna think about it every lap, and it's just gonna feel so much longer as well.
Indeed. And as we are about to get underway for 25 laps here of racing around the Jeddah circuit, what do you obviously we've seen that the real life calendar got announced, I believe, a fair few days ago now, in between sort of the race between this week and Portimao this week. You see a lot more newer tracks on the F1 calendar and a lot more fading of the older tracks at certain points, and just a few thoughts on where you think sort of this trend really goes, and if you think this is a worrying sort of thing.
That's a good question. That's a good question because we've had many tracks get lost in the past few years. For example, we've lost Malaysia, which is one of the best races.
One of Herman Tilke's best, I believe.
Yeah, Malaysia is one of the best race circuits there is on this entire planet, and it brings exciting races, especially with the unpredictable weather. And we've lost that to tracks like Baku and
I mean, Baku kind of proved itself that it can provide a good race, but it does take certain circumstances to do that.
Yes, exactly. But the thing is, the trend is we're getting more and more street circuits than what we used to, because Las Vegas is basically a street circuit. Jeddah is built like a street circuit.
Jeddah's a street circuit. It's a very fast flowing street circuit,
yes,
but it is still a street circuit.
Exactly. It's just like Baku's a bit of mix of both. What I'm noticing is that there's a lot of quick street circuits joining in on F1, and more traditional permanent race circuits are getting put to the side, which is a bit sad to think about, honestly.
And obviously you yourself would probably have watched F1 for a fair few years, and obviously talking outside of commentary sort of thing, being a Ferrari fan, seeing the probably many years of dominance that the team probably had, and seeing where that is now. It's obviously a lot of the tracks you probably would have watched, and a lot of older races, some of which aren't even used anymore, are bits of said tracks that aren't used anymore.
Yeah, exactly. There's many examples. Hockenheim, the old version of it as well. Turkey's a good example.
I believe Hockenheim is the old Hockenheim, which I believe the old very long layout where you could have half the track being wet and half the track being dry, if I'm correct.
Ah yes, Rubens Barrichello has some very good memories from that race. He started
Indeed, I believe.
Yes. This is why I love the old Hockenheim circuits, like circuits that have different types of weather conditions at different parts of the circuit. You can get an exciting race like that. You get Rubens Barrichello starting 17th, wins the race while driving on dry tires in wet conditions. Like, you don't get that today anymore.
No.
Sadly.
Even Hockenheim itself got dropped a lot off the calendar, I think, mainly due to
More
either
about financial
financial reasons.
Yes. Less politic reasons, more financial reasons is what I've read. And yeah.
I was gonna say, if you could bring back sort of any old circuit that has disappeared from the calendar over the last few years, what would it be?
What would it be?
Very difficult question, this one.
That is difficult. Yeah, there's so many different circuits you could bring back. You can bring. What I would personally want to bring back again is so difficult to answer, actually.
Put you in the spot here again with that one.
It's fine. Don't worry. Actually, this
just testing your knowledge, testing the waters. That's all.
Yeah, I don't know what to say to that. I don't know what circuit.
It's very difficult to nail one down, isn't it?
Yeah. Wait, give me maybe a circuit I would like to see back again is, for example, Indianapolis. The Indianapolis race circuit we had, for example.
I know why. Obviously, that one disappeared off the calendar because of the banking.
Yeah.
I believe it was the F1 cars couldn't take the banking at full speed because otherwise you'd tear off a tire.
The Michelin tires.
Was it Ralf Schumacher?
Yes.
Who found that out 2 years in a row?
Both occasions, yes. The Michelin tire couldn't handle the lateral forces because I believe that
it got diamonds. Was it not also because the track got diamond tip surface or something along those lines from the year before?
Not sure, but
2000.
It does have a special kind of surface. The Indianapolis banking has a special surface, kind of like a grooved surface, which the Bridgestone tire was able to easily handle, while the Michelin tires couldn't handle it at all.
And they couldn't find a solution to it, and it was just a massive farce that went along with it.
And which ended up being Schumacher's only win of 2005.
Was it 2005 or 2006?
That was 2005,
wasn't it?
2005, because only Jordan, Minardi, and Ferrari ran that race because they were only the only Bridgestone runners.
Indeed, and I believe that was, to this day, if I'm still correct, Thiago Montero's only podium in his career.
That man is still happy about it today.
Indeed, the other two were just not excited at all because they knew what had happened. He is there, he just doesn't care.
I mean, if you were at the back market team and you got a chance to score your first podium, why not? Yeah. I would have liked Minardi to get it, to be fair. Would have been so
Minardi
nice.
were always kind of a minnow team, but they managed to survive on what seemed like an almost non-existent budget. I believe that was also, I think Minardi was the team that gave Alonso one of his first drives in F1, if I'm correct.
His first ever drive in Formula 1 2001, where he impressed even the Michael Schumacher on multiple occasions. And here we go.
Indeed, correct.
Again, back.
Yep. Well, we've managed to talk. We've managed to talk through enough to get to the point where we can actually get back to the racing again. So, back in 2023, on F1 22. Try saying that very quickly. Not get confused. As Jackstar's now in the AlphaTauri. Obviously, he's not meant to be in the Red Bull. Fins is supposed to be in the Red Bull. So Jackstar, small change of teams in between.
It feels like the 90s again. Switching teams every race.
Indeed, something that was a very common occurrence. Jackstar and Tom, hard tyres for those two. Then it is mediums from Scott all the way down. Scott, Kirby, and SoFresh. Then Sora is on the hards. Then Cal, Spence, Senna, and Button all on the mediums, and Vapid and Fins on the hards. This track can be very much known for safety cars. knowing the very ease of what we've seen so far in terms of a few people have had crashing, I believe we will probably see a safety car or two in this very short 25 lap distance.
Indeed, I believe so as well. It's almost impossible to not get one on such a tight circuit with drivers that are as competitive as the ones we have here, and who are gonna try their best to deliver a fantastic season finale, which I know is going to be one of the most exciting races of the season.
Good. Okay. As we are coming up, as I say, you can tell how short the lap is because they have near enough finished it already. Predicted stop strategy, just ignore the one on the bottom. No one is going to two-stop around here. The tyre wear is not that bad for that to be the case. The soft tyres may all be terrible, but that will be a late game tyre if we do get a safety car very late on in this race. But the cars are now lining up. Tom opting to do a lot more weaving on his tyres than what Jackstar is, although he is down. Doing a little bit more weaving and getting those rear tyres up to temperature is the AlphaTauri driver, as Scott has just opted to decided to zoom all the way down to the grid and form up very early. So he's going to be in a little bit of a disadvantaged position with colder tyres as everyone else forms up. As the rest of the cars do indeed form themselves up on the grid, is everyone going to be able to get themselves lined up as the final cars are indeed coming through to form up? As that's an interesting position for Jackstars to be formed up in if you look on board with this car. I'm not entirely sure on that that lineup, but alright.
Maybe you know something.
As XR Button was disqualified. Anyway, I'll let you take it through the 5 red lights.
Okay, 3, 4, 5 red lights, and we're underway for the final race of the RFL season here in Jeddah. Down into turn 1. Nice camera angle. Oh, it has already been contact. Sora, I believe. No, Senna has contact. Tom is trying to go around the outside of Jackster as Scott has shot up into the lead. He's had an absolute beast of a start. He's jumped into first place. Jackster, followed by Tom, and SoFresh has moved up into P4. Kirby has lost a lot of places. He's dropped down to P7. Sora has gained a position, and Ben has also re-overtaken Sora, I believe, from the start as well.
Yes, Ben, I think he might be a little slower. He's down the inside. That is a place you don't often see moves getting done from the Red Bull driver, but SoFresh does leave him the space, and he is going to have to worry about Sora behind him.
He's obviously going to try and get away from Sora here as well.
Spen, that's a corner cut.
Exactly.
That's a big corner cut there, Spen. Unfortunately, that was caught on stream. I don't know, he didn't lose any he didn't gain any positions from it, so it's fine. As it looks like Sora, that was a car off in the wall, that's Cal. I saw that in the background there, that was very close there for Cal. As Sora, that's a move up the inside. As SoFresh tries to defend the inside line, to go side by side into the corner. Is Sora going to be able to hold the position? He's going to have the inside line, as I believe the final corner. SoFresh is going to have to go around the outside if he wants it. No, he's not going to be able to do it, as Sora now gets the position. And I believe that is Sora up into P5 for Mercedes.
Well done by Sora to overtake SoFresh. SoFresh was really trying his best to defend that position. He was very brave to go around the outside of an alien like the one Sora is. Nice battle, nice. Leaving each other room, respectful battle, as we have Vapid behind Cal right on his gearbox. And Kirby, no.
Oh, and Kirby's picked up a time penalty. Yeah, you see what I mean about the track limits being very weird. As Finn's, the very quick New Zealand driver, is up to P7 from the back of the grid already.
This is something Finn is very good at doing. He can manage to... Oh, and Button has bumped. That's exactly another spot where it's difficult to keep the car on track.
I think he has managed to keep him. He may well have damage from that, but I don't think we are going to see a safety car from that, even though there goes XCR Senna with a 3-second time penalty. He is not having fun in this race, considering he had the incident at turn 1. So it looks like it is fairly close. Jackstar has got the gap back under a second to Scott. I mean, that gap was about 1.2 seconds, so he's brought the gap down a couple of tenths. TomGorian, meanwhile, still keeping himself close behind, as Spen, with some very questionable interpretations of track limits, is currently in P4. Looks like they're...
Vapid shakes up the move of Cal, but he defends the position well. He's still behind him. He might have him now, though. Of course, Vapid on the...
I think Cal, he may well not have... He may choose not to defend this all too much, although Cal still has the inside lane for the next corner. He's still got it, however, he has to leave space for Vapid on the outside. Just an F1 car's width is given there, and Vapid is up to P9.
And he's made the move stick, and apparently Sora's
Spen. Oh, I think there's been a collision. Because Spen is off the road.
I think Spen's made a mistake.
I don't know what's happened there.
Sora wasn't all that close.
Yeah, I wonder if there's some damage on that Red Bull. Yes, there is. There is a front right end plate missing off that Red Bull.
His right end plate is...
So there's been some contact at some point.
Yeah, he might have hit the wall, made a mistake, but I didn't manage to catch it in time. Back to the
Indeed, I didn't quite manage to catch it either, unfortunately, so I can't really give much light on exactly what happened there. However, we're going to look... Spins once again, the Red Bull driver is looking at the back of SoFresh. You've got to be sort of tactical with where you make your moves, because obviously you've got that DRS zone there, you've got this DRS zone here, which you can make the move and run the outside or the inside if you're left the space there to go for it. And it looks like he's going to go back down the inside. That is very wide from SoFresh. And look at the switchback move from Fins there, who promotes himself up to P6. That P5, that was just chef's kiss there from Fins. It was literally let him make the mistake as Spen is into the pit lane for his very early pit stop onto the hard compound tyres, and probably, I'm not sure exactly what we're really going to see for them from the rest of this race. But that was a great move there from Fins to line it up, hook, line and sinker. As there goes Spen from the Grand Prix, he is in the pit lane, I believe, as there's Cal in the... Cal's got himself a time penalty now, as well as that promotes Button back up to P10 and probably Senna back up to P11. As we are back focused on this main battle, Jackster. Scott initially had the good run there, and it doesn't look like he's managed to get away with the better tyres, and now Jackster and Tom are coming back at him.
They have been pretty close this entire first few laps, but now the gap has really closed down.
Indeed, 0.3 of a second is the gap, 0.4. Dirty Air could be playing a small part here in slowing Jackson down a little bit, however he does want to get past. Is he going to make the move around the outside? Scott would probably welcome it now because he can get the DRS as he go around the final corner. Is it going to be tactical from... There's contact! I do believe that I think Jackster has clipped the side. I think that's what has happened there. There's been some side pod contact. TomGorian's taken advantage of that and got up to P1, but I believe Jackster made a little bit of contact there with Scott and really should wait for the Haas driver to go back through, but unfortunately I don't know if it will work out that way, allied to the nature of how that really turned out. I mean, that could have been that, or it could have been some weird hit points on the side of the cars, because side pod contact and spinning is very easy to do. There's XCR Senna out of the Grand Prix. That is middle sector, and I think that will be a safety car. Indeed it is.
Quite early as well for lap 5. Let's see what the drivers
so I
will do
wonder
now.
if these hard tyre runners potentially could go into the pits, come back out, and then go back in again and go back on those tyres and go at the end.
It is possible, because
the strategy I've used.
Yeah, that could be the winning strategy today as well, because tyre wear on this track is not as bad as the others. Plus, it doesn't make that much of a difference if you have a good setup on your car. Then you might as well try to go to the end, do what you said, pit in, get the mandatory tyre out of the way, pit in again, put this set of hard tyres on, and go to the end. That could work. That is, maybe Tom could do that, but let's see what the drivers will do here. Now, of course, Scott Spin promotes Sora into third place and Fint into...
And that is probably the last thing that TomGorian and Jack want to see, because Sora is, as we know, very quick. He does make mistakes, but he doesn't every driver, as it looks like. Oh, Tom fakes out Jackster, who does go into the pits.
This is an interesting tactic here. Let's see what.
Oh, Sora's into the pits as well.
See what they will put on.
Fins as well. I think it's going to be mediums. That's going to be an interesting strategy. Are they thinking there's going to be another safety car? Tom has opted to stay out. Oh, Fins is on the softs. I don't know if that's a mistake or if he's going back into the pits again. That potentially could be the case, because
could be the case, yeah.
The soft tyres are not going to go to the end from there. Let's be 100% honest. Even on a low tyre dig track like this, it is not as good. The soft tyres are not going to be as good as that, and they have not been as good a tyre for race pace as they were last game.
Exactly.
They're
The
useful
softs
as
in
a
the
late
previous game, you could do half a race distance or even more. This year's game, the degradation has really taken the soft tire compound out of the driver's strategy completely. And
You know what I'm quite surprised about while you're talking about that? None of the medium, well, I know Jackster's gone in, but the SoFresh has opted to stay out here.
as well, yeah, he might as well try to stick to the original strategy, because let's see, everybody has pitted except for Button, TomGorian and SoFresh.
Indeed.
Let's see if they enter the pits again to get their previous time.
They're maybe banking on another safety car. That's maybe what's going on here.
As well. That is another factor to take into consideration, because like we said, established before, we will get safety cars, and we got one straight on lap 4 immediately.
I mean, at this point, Tom really can't come in because of how much time he will probably lose. He'll be at the back of the field, but he'd have a clear track in front of him to actually go and look for. But it's just going to be interesting to see how Tom and SoFresh play out here in terms of what they go for, as obviously safety car will probably be in for one more lap. And I have noticed something.
Okay,
with
the
Tom
people are flying into the pits now. Fins, yeah, they're doing.
There we go. They are doing that. So it's only 2 of them.
Okay.
It's only
okay.
Jackster and Fins.
So
Button's gone into the pits as well, so he's probably going to go for a set of hard compound
back on
tyres.
the
That makes
outsides,
sense.
Yes, has Scott gone into the pits as well? I'm not sure. Has he?
No, he has not. No, he has not.
Ah, okay.
He started on the mediums though, so
and he's on the
he's
hards
done
now.
the mandatory stop.
He might try to go to the end, because like we said, this is a short race. We're on lap 7 already, and
Even under safety car, it's still a fairly quick race.
you have lap times of around 1.5 minutes, and since tire degradation, like we said, is quite low, people that are on the hards now, like Cal, Kirby, and Scott, fresh set of hard tires, they might try to go to the end here, because how many laps is that? That's 17 laps? 18?
Somewhere around about that range, I think, is what we're looking at in terms of how many laps are indeed left.
Yeah.
So
that should be doable. It should be doable on hard tires on this track.
At this point in the Grand Prix, obviously Sora has opted to stay out in the mediums, so he's thinking he can take the mediums to the end of the Grand Prix. Maybe there's something he knows, maybe we don't. But as the safety car probably will be in this lap, what is going to be in the mind of Tom, who's obviously leading away the safety car restart, knowing the fact there is a car on about 5 lap fresher tyres and a compound softer than what he is on? What do you reckon is going to be going through his head as he actually lines up for this restart?
I think it's gonna be. He should be confident about the strategy he's chosen, because I think the drivers behind him could also, maybe with the exception of the hard tire runners that have just pitted in again. No one else is gonna pit in. I don't know. He's gonna try something different, obviously, but I'm not sure.
He's doing the very slow strat. I'm not going yet.
I'm not sure what he's going to do.
He's trying to try and catch SoFresh out here as they're almost
now
going
he
too
goes, now
wide
he
there.
goes,
You
he's
really
going.
can't do that.
And-
I believe Sora overtook before the safety car line, although he has let the
he's
position
given
go
the
back
pace
through. Oh my word, I think Scott and Sora have gone side by side, so is there going to be contact here between the Haas and the Mercedes? No, there is not, and they do go through it, and it looks like Finn's has been spun.
Ow.
Oh, side by side, Sora's got past Finn, a set of SoFresh. So Sora up to
so
P2,
close,
and now TomGorian.
Oh, these are squabbling
Scott
so
is
close
not
with
too
each
far
other.
behind either.
Wow. Sora has just leapfrogged himself into second place through that squabble, and look at how close everyone is. From
Yeah, SoFresh creating a little bit of a bottleneck straight off this restart with Vapid, who has recovered himself back up to P5 from where he was obviously with the crash in the sprint race. He's now recovered himself up quite a few positions in the main feature race. He's now trying to get past Scott, and obviously these two have had some storied history throughout the season. We think back to Japan, where the stewards did decide to vote, put a vote, not a vote, but in favour of Scott and an incident between himself and Vapid. Vapid was not best pleased about it either when that indeed did happen, and it looks like we could potentially have round number 2 here. Looks like Jackson and Kirby have gone side by side as well. Looks like that move has been done. Scott is looking, he's going to try and make the move, but it's going to be crucial here because this is Scott, who's currently stuck in a Williams sandwich at this moment in time. I honestly don't know why, I just couldn't speak there for a second, as here comes Scott down the inside. He's going to use a little bit of the battery to get himself down the inside, late on the brakes from the Haas. Down the inside, he's going to be in the outside for the next corner. There's a little bit of a block there from SoFresh, and that allows Vapid through. That is great teamwork there. That is great teamwork, and now Scott, he's still stuck behind. There's contact between the two Williams. That's not ideal there for those two.
And SoFresh has had to concede to, and Jackson was having a look as well, and he's gonna go for it, I think, on SoFresh's ball.
Oh, that's a very tight squeeze between him and himself and the wall there. Down the inside. And then once again, Kirby is stuck behind a car. Oh, it looks like though Jackster's run a little bit wide, and that's going to allow SoFresh back up the inside.
Oh, they've been caught again.
Oh, there's a little bit of contact there between the two of them. It's wide from him. Jackster round the outside. The Alpha Tauri driver makes the move. Can Kirby, with a little bit of battery, get himself around the outside? Oh, he was contact there. I wonder if he's managed, if he's got damage off of that, or if he is good. Oh, there's contact there between the two. Oh my word, the two. That's got very, very hot all of a sudden. Oh, Cal's almost made contact as well, a little bit further back. Oh, this is gone. Whoa, Finn's is trying to make a move there. This is almost 4 wide at the further back here. Oh, down the inside. Finn's, what a move round the outside. He's got all of them.
Absolutely mucked up everyone with that. And Cal is going to have a look at it and make contact as well. And Button
as well is trying to get himself through. And Cal's going down the inside. The two still fighting, as I believe he does have the concede position. And SoFresh has dropped all the way back to P8 and all of that.
And in the meantime, through all of that, we have missed. How have we missed this? Sora's passed Tom for the lead. Not a surprise.
I don't know when that's. Oh my word! Whoa, there's contact!
Oh,
no. Of course.
Oh no.
That's SoFresh off. I think he must have wing damage off of that. I don't know exactly what's happened there, as we have a virtual safety car deployed for that incident.
He's lost his
I think SoFresh has got away without damage. He's got. Oh, I didn't actually. He hasn't. He has absolutely no wing. I'm amazed that hasn't caused a safety car, because that can cause safety cars around here. But I believe there was some side pod contact between the Aston Martin and the Williams. That's not really going to do all that many favours for Williams in the Constructors Championship. And well, obviously, I looked at Tom and he was just ahead of Sora, so Sora must have made a move just after turn number 1, because he was behind as they went into the
car's in again. He's back out, and Kirby's gonna lose it. Oh, he almost hits the wall again. And yeah, he's probably just let him through there, because Finn's is on another.
Here we go. Scott is using a lot of the battery here. and he is gaining ground on Vapid. Keep it clean, lads. As Vapid defends the inside, Scott squeezes his way around the outside. Is he going to be able to make it? No, he is not. He doesn't quite manage to do it, and Vapid remains in P3 for the moment.
That is some nice defending there from the Williams driver. He managed to keep it clean there. Almost made contact on the exit of turn 2 as well. Scott being obviously trying to get past him. Oh, that was Fence gets a penalty as well. That is not something he wants. If he...
Yeah, he needs to make up a lot of ground now to make up for said penalty. It's very easy to do around here as Jackster was within DRS for a small range there. Well, he's still a little bit, but he's kind of on the fringes, about 0.8 of a second. Back to Scott, and I wonder, Scott has fell back from Vapid, so I wonder in all of that if he picked up some kind of damage or something of that nature. It looks like Cal and Button as well. It looks like, oh, what Button's off, Button's in the wall, so that's not ideal for the Alfa Romeo drivers. Cal keeps hold of P8.
And he's going to try around the outside again, down this corner.
Oh, Cal is, as I say, Cal has pretty much been chucked in the deep end here, coming back to race after a very long period of inactivity when it came to the racing side of things. As Sora sets the fast lap of the Grand Prix, as it's good. Cal round the outside, he's going to try it round the outside, but he's not going to be able to make it stick.
He's going to have a nice switchback thing. Good exit from Cal there. He's going to manage to do something about it.
Jax has also got past Scott at some point as well, so I don't know what's happened there as Cal's not able to really make anything stick there and will remain behind for now. In the meantime, while we were away not looking at that, we had Scott has been passed by Jaxter, so I don't know what's happened there, because he was ahead and he did seem to have a good amount of pace. I wonder if in his overtake attempt of Vapid he's maybe picked up some light damage that we cannot see, or something's happened with the pace of Scott. He's not quite as quick as what he was when he was right on the back of the Williams driver of Vapid.
Something, maybe he just didn't get the tires up to temperature well enough, but now he seems to have picked up a bit of pace again. There was so much stuff going on that we couldn't keep up, and we missed the overtake for the lead. That was mental. That is obviously what happens in a racetrack where you have so much straight line speed which is offered to you, and you get those kind of 4 wide moments.
Indeed, in that case, as we have Jaxter having a look at Vapid, 0.4 of a second, half a second is the gap. Look at how much he now gains with the DRS. ERS is going down. As here we go, the Ocon and Alonso squeeze there for Jaxter, but he does indeed get himself through, and now once again Vapid finds himself in the clutches of one of what he would consider his greatest nemesis this season, Scott W.
And also the fact that Scott running hard tyres and Vapid on mediums is probably also what
he's already out, so it's fine.
Yeah, as Vapid is running mediums, that probably also explains a bit Scott's drop off a little bit, but now he should be back in business as Cal gets another penalty. I think it's the second penalty he's got this.
Yes, I believe that's the second penalty. The race is going 6 seconds at the moment. Not a lot really to report from the front since Sora's got past. He's built a 4.4 second gap, and obviously TomGorian, we know, is still yet to pit.
Yeah.
Obviously very much relying on a safety car now, really. It's probably safest strategy, because I think his strategy kind of got thrown out the window a little bit when the safety car came out and he didn't pit. Wonder if that may well come back to haunt him in the end if he loses a few positions at the end of this, because we obviously know his main rival and nearest person in 4th place, Vapid, is currently already pitted, but it's going to be very questionable on those tyres at the end of the Grand Prix, even with the low tyre wear for the Williams driver.
Exactly. I'm interested to see what Vapid will do, because he's definitely going to have to pit again. I'm pretty sure he's not going to be able to run that medium tyre to the end unless he has something up his sleeve. Tom is definitely going to pit again, because he still needs to get the mandatory tyre onto his car, and at the moment he's a bit in no man's land. He's 5 seconds ahead of Jackster, keeping those 5 seconds gap between him, Jackster, and him and SoFresh, which is kind of by himself.
He's kind of checking himself out of the front. 5 seconds
Oh,
the
and
gap.
he spins, and as we say that, he has spins. That has not gone well. That is not something he wants to.
Oh, that's not what was required, and now Jackster's got pretty much right up to the back of him.
As soon as we said that, we commentator cursed Tom again. Oh no.
I mean, I've probably commentator cursed many people this season, and many people would want to say a certain amount of words in the English dictionary in my direction, knowing of all things that do happen, and that now means that Sora doesn't really have to worry about it. Yes, indeed.
10 seconds now, the gap, obviously, so...
Indeed, yes. And that is now and what this has now opened up Tom to is the battle for is the person third, fourth, fifth, and probably sixth when this battle all forms together.
Oh, that is. As soon as we said he was
Jackster smelling blood in the water, he's gone into the pits. Yeah, that is about the lap where you think you would pit for the mediums, but he is going to drop a lot of positions.
Obviously, he's going to probably hope for a safety car as well, but I think his main rival obviously is Vapid with
indeed, it's going to be interesting to see how Vapid does shake up with those tyres at the end of the Grand Prix, but TomGorian has fell all the way back to P9. That is not ideal for the Alpine. He is still ahead of at least one Williams here, but he does get back ahead of Cal, who I believe didn't fight him all too much. But not ideal for the Alpine driver, and if all goes to plan, that could be one massive screw in the constructors.
Exactly, yeah. At the moment, I still think that Alpine is in a good position with Kirby at least. But
yeah, it's all on Kirby. The Kirby does have a 3-second time penalty to contend with himself. TomGorian, meanwhile, is 8 tenths and he's right onto the back of Button already in this sequence. I think he just came in just behind, and he is wanting to make moves. He needs to get himself as far up the grid as possible because he knows how important this is in these remaining 10 laps of this Grand Prix to get himself as far up as per what he possibly can.
And he's going to shake up a moving Button, a pretty easy one, considering fresh tyres, DRS, and plenty.
Oh, Vapid's in the pits.
And Vapid, oh, he is pitting. Okay, a bit sooner than
that's an interesting strat. Fins is in the pits as well. He's got damage.
Oh yeah.
Another
yeah,
screw. So we go from one screw to another. So we've had that obviously there, and now Tom is now back up into P5, and he's ahead, and he's got a car between himself and that, and there's a yellow flag. There, Scott. Scott is backwards.
Oh, oversteer through there.
I wonder if him and Jackster have made contact.
No, I'm pretty sure that was an oversteer moment there for Scott, and he's gonna place himself.
And he is still just ahead of Kirby at the moment, and Kirby does have 3.7 seconds to his teammate, but I believe there will be probably some team orders there at Alpine for TomGorian to let Kirby to let his teammate TomGorian go.
The question is, can Scott keep the car on track? Because they look like a hefty spin. His car's definitely not pleased.
He needs to be careful that he hasn't overheated the rears, because that is a very common problem. If you see someone spin, they end up with overheated tyres. They try and get going again, and they end up spinning because the rear grip is not all that there, and your tyres are about 120 degrees. The Sora's in the pits again. Although it won't really matter, to be honest, because I'm fairly sure Jackster's... Oh, he's not going to be ahead by much, as Sora is just coming at the pit, so it's going to be... Well, it's not going to be close to them, it's going to be... Sora's going to remain himself in P2, and here comes Sora down the pit lane exit, and Scott is now going to be ruining that error, because he's come out behind him by around about 6.1 seconds.
Kirby goes into the pits. And he's gonna
what is going on here? There's a lot. There's 2 stops going on here. This is very crucial.
Oh,
okay, that was a glitch.
Oh yeah,
that was
serving a penalty there, yeah.
Has been passed by Vapid, and Vapid is up into P number 5. as TomGorian, look at this gap closing down between himself and Scott. The tyre difference is huge, and now he needs to make up the positions because this is for all the marbles in the constructors. The gap only around about 4.5 points. Obviously aligning the fact that we did have to, I believe, dish out half points for China due to issues with the lobby.
Yeah, get a half point rewarded for that race, and Tom making inroads, heavy inroads on Scott at the moment.
Indeed.
Keeping it
I think I can be hit, as I say. Indeed. I wonder if we will see Scott go into the pits. I wonder if Jackster will actually make any response, or if Jackster's going to go at the end of this Grand Prix. Because Sora's going to have to do the work now, catching back up. And we probably will see how Sora does indeed get on with that now, as it's 1.2 seconds as the gap is coming down. He will be in DRS by the time they get to the DRS zone again, I do suspect, for the Alpine driver as they go through. Finns, meanwhile, is on the back of Cal. They're going side by side into the final corner and down the main straight. Finns are round to the outside, setting the fastest lap of the Grand Prix in the process, and he is up into P6, provisionally on track, obviously excluding penalties as such, as the Red Bull driver does indeed make it, as Button now wants to pit as well from P number 9, and probably will remain in P9 because SoFresh is a long way back in
and
P10
here we have
due to the incident early on. Scott with a penalty.
The penalty. Tom right on his gearbox as well now. Obviously fresh tyres that have not suffered.
I don't believe this is going to be all too difficult. Again, these two have had a little bit of history. Obviously at the first round in Miami, these two, I believe, were involved in a collision at the final corner. So let's see if there are no fireworks this time while these two make the moves on each other. I believe there may well have been some gentleman's pact between these two.
Yeah.
Not to get in the way of each other. I believe I overheard that in the paddock earlier on. Vapid might not be fully happy with that as we go into that, but unfortunately we can't stop drivers from agreeing on certain things along those lines, as Scott meanwhile is now dropping back, and he's probably going to potentially hold up Vapid if he can and make his day miserable.
2 seconds.
Who knows, we will have to see.
2 seconds gain from Sora in the, I believe, last lap and a half, so either Jackster's going to also try save his tyres in ERS a bit, because they've got about the same amount. Maybe Jackster's aiming to do after like...
is he going to go maybe softs at the end, potentially?
I think he could also be saving a bit of his energy as well, so to go full send in the final 3 laps, and Sora is eventually going to be close to him. And this is where the different types of setup can come into play. If Jax, like you said before, if you have a quick car on a straight line, it might be difficult for the car behind. You might have a bit more downforce to get by in the first place. So maybe this is what Jackster is aiming for.
Indeed, but I think the Rolling Thunder that is the Mercedes of Sora is going to be coming towards him probably in the next... I believe he's probably going to catch in, I'd say, the next 2 or 3 laps. Because he's already got that gap to about us. 3 seconds. It's going to be very interesting to see how long it takes for Sora to bring that gap down, but I give that about another 2 or 3 laps. He's pretty much, he's like a shark smelling blood in the water here as Sora's making his way towards Jackster at an alarming rate of knots, and the AlphaTauri driver will be looking in his rearview mirrors at that Mercedes, which is just getting closer and closer and closer.
He's gained another half a second there in the final this part of the track to see how much you can gain. Obviously tire differences, much fresher, softer compounds for Sora. The gap has gone from 2.7 seconds down to 2.54, actually, make it 2.4. So he's not losing that much time, Jackster, to Sora through the first second.
Yeah, it's sort of no. It may well be with a place where he's gaining the most amount of time, potentially. It depends on the amount of downforce levels these two drivers are running. I do happen to know, I'm fairly sure, that Sora is running on a pad. I don't know about Jackster though.
Thanks.
Because I don't know if he's a wheel or...
He's on a wheel, Sora.
I don't know if I heard if he was on a wheel or paddock.
I believe he was. I believe he
one of
was
the
on
two
a
is correct.
wheel. Yeah. I remember. I remember our league versus league race, and he was talking about the wheel. The settings on the wheel he has. I'm pretty sure he is using the wheel.
Righty. Oh yeah, obviously you. Thing that I'm fairly sure did quite well in terms of leagues. Whenever we did that for
Double
the RFL
point
side of
scoring
things.
positions. So I was pretty satisfied with that result. And Sora has gained another second, so it's down to 1.8. So he's roughly getting a second a lap.
4 laps to go.
This race has gone down very quickly. And
Indeed, we are only about an hour and 30 minutes into this entire thing.
And look at what is going on here a bit further back. We have
Indeed,
the
we've got Vapid on the back. Oh,
Yellow
Scott,
flag.
we've got a yellow. I think that yellow is for Cal potentially, or Kirby, one of the two. Something's happened on the straight between those two. Scott is probably going to be, he's going to try and be as much of a menace as per what you possibly can, but if you go on board with Scott, you can see the state of his front tyres. There are some very deep grooves in those tyres.
Oh yeah, I can see that. The outside of the another yellow flag. What's going on? Fins was crashed. Fins was crashed.
Oh my word! I think that he was up there probably with those guys, so he's made a mistake on his own. Vapid is looking to try and get himself past the Haas driver as soon as possible. Is he going to make the move into here? No, he's not yet. I wonder if this is where the gentleman's pact is going to come into himself with TomGorian and Scott here. Obviously, that was being talked about in the paddock between those two. It was whispers between the two of those. As he went in, Jax has lost the lead of the Grand Prix. I might well note that as well. It's up the inside. Jax, is he going to be able to do anything about it? I don't know if he is. I think I think Sora has got it done. And now back to this one. Here comes Vapid using the battery down the straight. He's going to try. I wonder if there's going to be any kind of a squeeze here between the two, as nothing can really be done round the outside. The sweeping move from Vapid, and he is up to P4.
Nothing much Scott could have done there. He tried to defend, and just the fresher tires, softer tires. Easy, like he couldn't have done that much there, to be fair. So that's a likely move
into the pit lane. So I'm assuming he has damage off of that.
Oh yeah, he lost his front wing. He's lost his entire front wing in that spin.
Righty. He's onto soft compound tires and probably going for the fastest lap of the Grand Prix.
Gonna get the points he needs. Yeah, gonna get the fastest lap there. Scott trying to keep up with Vapid here. He's still in DRS. He's actually closed a little bit the gap again to half a second, but obviously I think DRS is gonna help him a lot through here, and he runs wide.
Oh, was a little bit of a moment there for the Haas driver as we head through. He's going to have the DRS, but at this point those tyres are very old and probably not helping him in the slightest. I mean, the other example you need to look at for a very similar age of tyre is Jaxter, who's currently about 8/10. So there's a yellow once again. I think there's been an issue with... Is that Fins? Is that Fins who's had an issue once again?
No, nothing. Just yet. Random yellow flags.
I don't know what that yellow flag is for. So Fins has come out in P10 behind SoFresh, so that's how much time he lost in that pit stop.
Yeah, I had to make an entire wing change there as well. Jaxter still managing to stay within a second. Now he's out of it.
The thing is, those tyres are going to be screaming at him come this point in the Grand Prix, because Sora, as I say, is probably most likely, unless anything does happen. I mean, for Jaxter to win this race, he would have to have the ground open up and take Sora with it. I don't think that's going to happen, because I'm fairly sure track surfaces don't work like that. So It's going to be a struggle now for Jackster, but he's got a 14-second gap. He is pretty much safe for the remaining 2 laps of the Grand Prix to himself, to TomGorian. That gap will come down, but I don't think it's going to come down by enough.
Unless mistakes happen, obviously. We've had Tom make one, we've had Scott make a mistake, Finn's making a few as well. Anything can happen on this racetrack. But it seems to have settled down
is
now.
not managed to shake.
Although,
I will say while you've seen that.
Scott,
Yeah.
Scott is
He's
still
not
there.
managed. Vapid is not managed. Yes, Vapid did not manage to shake Scott off, as he's probably going to come back at him potentially this lap. The Williams driver looking probably looking in his mirrors a little bit and seeing if there is going to be a move from the Haas behind. But nothing comes.
Maybe he's got a bit more tire wear than expected. A bit more overheating, and that's why Scott's
10
still
laps of a
managing.
tyre difference though between Vapid and Scott, and is a tyre softer as well for Vapid?
But Vapid's tires don't look that much better than Scott's though. I can already see the grooves of tear and wear starting to seep into the surface of the tire, so it's still close between the two.
Yeah, it's all going to be about whether or not he can hang on with those tyres and lose as minimal time as possible, because he's having to use a fair bit of probably battery just to keep himself within range.
Yep. Oh, this time,
Indeed.
SoFresh
Oh, SoFresh I think has kept the position.
Yeah, SoFresh has learned from the previous instance that he decided to cover the inside this time, make the life of
And Fins, this is gonna. I wonder if there'll be a Daniel Ricciardo send here. There was not.
Still ahead. Good job by the both of them. SoFresh.
Here we go. Not a place where you normally would make a move, but you can catch drivers out. The battle for P9, the battle not to be last really, in terms of positions on the field of people who are left. Oh, it's a bit wide there from SoFresh as Fins tries to make the move, but he's still not able to do it. And this is the thing with the soft tyres, you get maybe 1 or 2 laps of good usage out of them, and then they suddenly will drop off quicker than stocks of FTX.
Meantime, Sora's on his final lap. He's going through sector 2 at the moment. We'll join him in a minute. And Fins has hit the wall again. Just caught him.
Yeah,
Scott's
there's an hour time penalty for Scott. He's not anything to worry about though. He has Kirby 20 and a half seconds behind. But we are currently, indeed, as we are actually, Sora's about to catch up to that battle with Fins and SoFresh.
Yeah, I can see that
that's currently going on.
But that's not going to matter because Sora is going to go through.
Fins is going to go and go for the overtake, but I think that SoFresh has gone back down the inside. Is there going to be a switchback move? Here comes Sora on the background, who's coming through to win the Grand Prix. Is it going to happen for him down in towards turn number 1? Sora does win the Grand Prix in the background, so it's going to be that. Is Fins going to try and send it? No. Oh, what a switchback though.
TomGorian.
Oh, there's going to be close.
He's celebrating like he's won the championship. Well, to be fair, he has won, I believe.
He's won the. I think Constructors is indeed won, because.
But SoFresh.
Tom in third.
He's immediately.
And Sora is immediately gone. He is out of here. Fins, meanwhile, still trying to make the move stick. I believe Vapid.
Defense of a hero here. Absolutely amazing defense by SoFresh, keeping Fins behind him. I'm pretty sure Fins has damage on his wing again, because he clipped the inside wall going through here quite hard.
Indeed, it looks like TomGorian has finished in third.
Scott has crashed on the line once again.
Indeed, but he has crossed the line. That's probably the most important thing. P5 for him. Good recovery considering the mare of a race he had last time out. Cal has been jumped by Button.
He's not going for it.
He's probably going to go for it here, because this is the last opportunity that he's going to have. The last throw of the dice for the Red Bull driver. SoFresh doesn't have any ERS. SoFresh has nothing in the reserves. Round the outside, the Red Bull driver goes. Is he going to send it down the inside? He's going to run wide. I think that's going to be job done for Fins, and that's down the inside. I think he's got the penalty, so he's not going to do it. So yeah.
And he's gonna
He's gonna do a few donuts.
Of course, what a way to top off the season than with a car sitting there
Yes.
without a tyre and another one.
Yes, and then you have
doing
Fins just
donuts.
doing donuts.
What a way to end the
Indeed.
season here.
Yeah. Congratulations to Sora on the victory with Jackster in P2, and he does eventually get across the line.
What a
And all of
season.
that. Sideways, of course.
What a
Of course,
season
the AI
for
doesn't know what to
Fins.
do with the there. Indeed, as Fins does
Fins
pick up
gets
driver of the day,
driver
but
of the day.
I mean, I'm not sure on that one, to be honest.
The donuts,
But
the
yeah,
donuts.
well, we will choose driver of the day after we get to the results, I think. But
Yeah.
your winner of the final round of the season is going to be TMS Sora. A bit of a blip last week for him in Portimao, but he returns to the top step and wins the final race here of the season. It's going to be second place for Jackster. Wasn't able to hold on. The AlphaTauri driver does still claim P2. And TomGorian, he may well feel a little disappointed that he maybe could have won without the spins and a few other things that could have gone his way and a few sort of decisions that could have been made better. But he will pick up P3 in the end.
Yep. Fifth
And
podium
the
of the
rest.
season, I believe. He's scored his fifth podium. He's done a good race, aside from that one mistake he did. And yeah, congratulations to Sora for the race win once again. Congratulations to everybody
Indeed.
who managed to finish the race. Difficult race, this one.
Indeed, yes.
And Alpine are...
I believe Alpine are Constructors Champions because Vapid finished in 4th and... Oh, Vapid 4th. Scott finishes P5 with Kirby P6. Button in P7. Calpiate, SoFresh, the last...
Good
well,
comeback. from
9th and
Al.
10th for SoFresh and Fins with Senna and Spen 11th and 12th. My driver of the day is going to go to Vapid, I think, because that was a good comeback drive considering the crash in the sprint race from the Williams driver not affecting his head all too much, and he did well to bring it back.
Did his best, the best he could. They recovered quite well. Yeah, you have to say there's not much arguing about who driver of the day is.
So far, Fins, yes. Sorry about the donuts, had to celebrate P10 instead.
Of
Fair
course.
enough, Fins.
Of course, we enjoyed it.
I'm, however...
We loved it. Good one. Ah, and that is...
It's understandable that he wants to
Yeah.
celebrate that, and I can fully understand that he wants to do that.
It's the final race of this season, come on. These donuts are in order, so...
Here we go. Indeed, yes, donuts for all. Before, however, we round off the stream, we will have some wise words from the owners of the league about some stuff that's happening once they all get into the session. Just gonna go and get a car on screen so you're not just looking at that. We're not going there at the moment.
Of course you come. Of course you come.
Yes, of course that would happen. We're still I'm still waiting on Indeed. We're still waiting to say well done on driver of the day for this week. After all of that. Still waiting on Kirby before we carry on.
Oh, the saltiness, eh? The saltiness has begun. Wow.
Now, this is the mainstream. We can save this for later on. That's not the important
Congratulations.
part right
Listen, we've both won something, okay? Let's just have a listen. All
Indeed.
the owners, listen. All the owners have won something. Vapid won the drivers, and me and Kirby have just won the constructors.
Congratulations, guys.
Yes.
Well done. Well done.
Congratulations,
We've
yes,
just
on
done
the
the most
that is a
epic
congratulations.
version of We Are the Champions on Kirby's stream. That was.
Fair enough. Oh, we're not going. No, that should not be mentioned on stream. That is a thing not for the stream. That is a thing for something else. Okay, good. You didn't have your audio included for that. Okay, fair enough. Now you can include your audio having said that. So, before we round off the stream, it's going to be a little bit longer this one because obviously the race is quite short. We have a few words from the owners about sort of changes and stuff that is happening next season. So, whoever wants to start, take it away.
Well, okay. I don't know where you want to start. But next season, Oh, holy shit! We've got so much planned for next season. We've literally
That's a
got
bleep.
on the. Well,
It's
listen,
alright,
I'm a
it's only
Constructors
one.
champion. I don't care. We've got multiple formulas coming. Obviously, F2. We've got an F2 league coming, which is going to be run by Kirby. I don't know when sign-ups are open. I don't know if sign-ups are open now.
Hey, but we'll get to
Or well, are they open now? I don't know, but
Just-
they're
just-
open
that.
soon.
No, we'll get
No,
to
no,
that.
no,
We'll get
no.
to that.
Cover
Don't worry.
what you know now. Cover what you know now.
Well, we're doing an F2 league, and it's scheduled to be on some Thursdays.
Thursdays.
We'll
Thursdays.
we'll get to that. Don't
On
worry.
Thursdays at 8 p.m. So if you like F2, if you like driving F2 cars, you know, let us know if you want to race in our league next season, and we'll get you a seat. Season 9, right? So season 9, not really much is changing for season 9, just little tweaks here and there. We are starting at 8 p.m., which could be a blessing or a curse. We feel like the reason why we're starting at 8 p.m. is because, I mean, who wants to be literally doing league racing at quarter to 11 on a Saturday night? I mean, I'm sorry, but 8 p.m. we've all agreed is the best starting time for the league, and that way the league will be starting 8 p.m. next season. Right, the biggest news. If you follow on Twitter, you'll know about the announcement, but season 9 is crossplay. So that means anyone from Xbox, PlayStation, or PC can come and race in our league. Anyone, anywhere, anytime. Sign-ups for season 9 are already open. If you want to, go and check out the Discord, go ahead and do so. Follow us on Twitter for all information regarding season 9. We'll let you guys know of the calendar and of some of the stuff that's going to be returning for season 9. But I feel like I'm blabbing on too much, so I'll just say this right now. I just want to personally thank all of the drivers who have drived in our league, who have raced in our league. It doesn't matter who you are, if you've been blacklisted or you're still here. Thanks for racing in our league. We've had some truly epic moments this season, and some of the racing, I can't lie, has been absolutely incredible. Probably from a racing perspective, maybe the best season we've had in RFL history. As we enter season 9 and season 10 soon on F1 23, we can just hope that season 9 is somewhat better than season 8. So for myself, TomGorian, thanks for watching all the races. Thanks to all the drivers for driving, all the admins, all the work that they do, the stewards. Obviously it's not easy, especially when you have to deal with a lot of, well, let's say bollocks in the league racing community.
Jesus Christ.
But yeah,
Omar, can you just leave for a minute?
but yeah,
Could I?
thank
Can I
you,
just-
and yeah.
Could I just cut in and also say
Just stay
something?
with us, now.
To whoever's just listening, please don't get us cancelled for what Tom just said. I do apologise on that behalf. Second of all, I just want to add on to what Tom's also said. I would like to thank everyone for taking part, because if it wasn't for the drivers, the viewers, etc., we wouldn't have RFL back up and running. So everyone, and special thanks to Sam, Cal, who have been brilliant commentators throughout this season. They've both
I'd
done
also
a
like to add
fantastic.
Angelo as well for
They've
his
both done a
cameo
fantastic
appearance
job,
in the
and
box
also
tonight
Angelo
as well.
for tonight as well. So
That's why I thought I'd bring Callan as well, because obviously he was a part of the season as well. The person who's not here as well, obviously, he did the first rounds of the season button as well, just a little bit to him as well.
Thanks,
Even
Button,
though
as
stuff
well.
happened afterwards, but yeah.
as for season 9 as well, I've actually got a wee special announcement for myself. At the beginning of this season, I was not expecting to win the championship or the constructors, and I have announced that I was going to retire, but I can't see myself not racing. I just can't bring myself to it. So I will be racing next season, and I will be making Tom's life very hard.
Man can't decide if he's coming or going.
Yes.
I am coming back season 9 to defend my crown. So if anyone wants it, you better pick up the speed, because I'm coming back better next season. So
Don't worry about it. Don't you worry about it.
I thought I was going to retire, but I didn't want to hand it on a plate to the other drivers. So if they want the title, they're going to step up a bit. Because I'm not going anywhere. So Yeah, it was a hard decision. I was really throughout most of the season I was mindset and wanting to retire, but I couldn't bring myself to it because the more I've reduced my racing, the more I've actually been getting bored throughout the week because I've not got something to look forward to throughout the week. So I thought I just can't step back at this point. I know halfway down season 9 I'll probably come chopping at the door again, and yeah, I'm looking forward to next season.
Fair enough. Thank you for all of that, Kirby. If you want to add anything else, if your audio is indeed included in the stream, if there's anything else you'd like to add that's not already been said.
Well, I'll be honest, I wasn't listening, so yeah. Guess if people said good things, then whatever they said. And it's for S2, it's gonna. Oh, it's like, excuse me, I just had a crown. Sign-ups open Monday. More information on the league coming Monday. If you're interested in F2, Thursdays 8 p.m. UK time. All the information for that will be out Monday, and sign-ups also, like I said, open Monday. So if you're interested in that, then peep our Twitter this coming Monday. Thank you.
Indeed. And if that is everything that needs to be mentioned, as I say, I'd like to just say a few thanks to the commentators I've worked with in the races I've witnessed this season, as both a com and a co-com this season. Obviously, having stepped up and done most of the season as the main sort of commentator in that front, and
You've been amazing.
Seen a lot of the action that gone through the season. Thank you very much. As I say, thank you very much, Cal, as I say, for stepping to come to box, and hopefully your race went well today. If your audio is included, if you want to say anything about the season before I hand off to Angelo to see what he had to say about the race, obviously. If there's anything you want to add, Cal, if your audio is included.
Yes, it's been an amazing season, and yeah, looking forward to season 9.
Indeed, hopefully we'll see you back in the racing action come season number 9, as well as Angelo as well, who has obviously made his cameo appearance, and you could potentially see more of Angelo in the commentary box if all goes to plan on that front, but you will have to wait and see on that front. But on that front, we are going to round off round number 24 here in Jeddah and the finale of season number 8. We will see you for season number 9, I believe. Is it going to be around mid-February when we get season number 9 kicked off? Yeah, indeed. You just heard the man, 3 weeks time. So thank you very much everyone who tuned in this season and listened to my dulcet tones, as well as the tones of Cal and Angelo this season, and Button as well for the first years of the season. But that will be the end of the season, and unless you have anything else to add, we will round off the stream here. Alright, I will take...
Wow. Yeah.
Okay. And there is everything to be... Yeah, okay. And so, we will round off the season. Thank you to everyone who has watched this season, and we will be back for season number 9 with probably a new commentary team as per what is known for certain things, but you will find out that stuff probably in a little bit later on. Anyway, this will round off the stream. Good night everyone, and we will see you in mid-February for season number 9.
Bye bye. See you then.
Bye.